What is up, everybody? Welcome to the recap show for UFC 263 Adesanya versus Vettori. A very, very good card, a card that I can't wait to get into and break it down fight by fight. There was, potentially some questionable judging. We'll get into that. We had a title change hands. We'll get into that. And overall, the card was pretty solid. So really looking forward to getting to it here. Before we get started, if you guys can leave a like on this video and also subscribe if you're not subscribed already, so you don't miss out on the other content throughout the week. So after this, right after this, 7:15 p.m. Eastern time, me and Uncle Weezy are going live on Pub Sports Radio to give an early look into this week's card, next week's card, or it's going to be Zombie Ige. So go check that out. The link will be in the description of this video. So really would appreciate that. And then me and Uncle Weezy also putting out a video on my channel on Monday, going balls deep into the main event of Korean Zombie and Dan Ige. So that's going to be fun. I thought that me and Weezy really killed the breakdown for Adesanya Vettori. Feel like we really got it down to a T. So hopefully break it down for you guys good as well this week. So what's up, everybody in the chat? What's up, Melon in here early? Hopefully you did well. Uncle Weezy in the chat. The recap show, time to celebrate our success and learn from our failures, 100%. Let's go. I agree. What's up, Sean? Hopefully you did well. Let's go, Brady. Figgy rigged it for a payday. I don't know. We'll talk about that. But yeah, that was weird all around. What's up, Brady? I was surprised at the number of decisions on UFC 263. I want to say there was like 11 decisions last night, so that's crazy. I was expecting more finishes, especially with the fans, but still, it was a pretty good card. So we'll kind of get into it right here. We'll go through the stats a little bit. We'll go through the decisions from the media members. And first, we have an interesting one. A lot of people thought this one was a robbery, and we'll kind of get into the stats a little bit, but Carlos Philippe going against Jake Collier. So first of all, a lot of people thought that Philippe lost his last fight against Tafa in a very close fight. This as well was a very close fight. I personally scored it for Jake Collier. I thought Collier did enough in that second round, and he clearly won that first round. The announcers were talking about kind of the body language of Collier, maybe swaying the judges in a way. But we'll kind of get into the numbers here, and it kind of tells a completely different story. So first of all, total significant strikes right off the bat. It goes to Jake Collier, 130 to 94. And we'll kind of take a look at the per round here. So we had round one. I don't really think there's any debate. Jake Collier, 42 significant strikes to Carlos Philippe, 25. Philippe, did not throw much volume in that first round. Round two, we have Jake Collier, 34 to Philippe's 28. So close round. I slightly scored it for Collier just because he was doing more. But Philippe did look like the fresher fighter, but I guess the judges saw it the other way. They gave that second round to Philippe. And then the third round, this was surprising to me just based off the numbers, but Collier actually outlanded Philippe 54 to 41. He outlanded him by, 13 strikes in that third round, which, definitely surprises me because I thought that round was all Philippe. And, Collier was still hitting him. So I thought, Philippe did a little bit too much messing around in there, but that's just kind of his style. He likes to go in there and talk crap, have a fun fight, and he did. So the judges did award him with the decision. We'll take a look at the MMA decisions here. We'll go to Philippe. Oh, we got an ad. Collier. So coming up here. Okay, so the media scores, we had a lot of Philippe's, 30-27 Philippe, and a lot of 29-28 Philippe. So this kind of surprises me because you take a look at Twitter and a bunch of people are screaming robbery and all that. I don't know if it was because they had bets on him or something, but a lot of people were saying that this was a robbery. And then only two had Collier 29-28. So that's interesting right off the bat. I thought more people would be on the Collier side. So all three judges gave the first round to Collier. And then all three judges gave the second round to Philippe. And then we had two judges give the third round to Philippe, and one give it to Collier. So that's interesting there. But yeah, regardless, it was a close fight. I did score it personally, 29-28 for Collier. But I mean, it's definitely not a robbery. And I'm definitely interested to see both guys back in the cage, so I can fade them both, man. But Collier is impressive. It's just the gas tank was not there. He kind of slowed down a ton after that first round, but the output for a heavyweight that was very impressive by Jake Collier. Landing was like 130 strikes. That was impressive. And, the fight prior to that, he landed around there as well. So shout out to Collier, but he could not get it done. Yeah, I was getting that all week. I didn't see it personally, but it is what it is. Figgy paid by the Mexican cartel. I don't know about that. A lot of people mad about Figgy. Yeah, definitely. 29-28 Philippe, but it was close. Collier's body language was bad. Yeah, it was bad, but there's an argument that can be said that that's not in the scoring criteria, body language. I mean, so I don't know. It was a close fight, though. By the scoreboard, I thought Collier won. I'm kind of with you there. Moreno and Izzy to win over 3.5 made me a lot of money. If Jamal Hill got that finish, it would have been a great night. Also think Philippe won because people like him, which I don't like. It is what it is. There you go. We'll talk about the Hill fight pretty soon here as well. So we'll get to the next fight here. We have Fares Ziam going against Luigi Vendramini. Kind of a very disappointing performance by Luigi. We saw what he was, capable of in that third round. It was just in that first and second round, very hesitant. Couldn't really get on the inside, and understandable because Ziam had a decent size reach and a decent size height advantage on Luigi. He had really trouble, getting on the inside. He wanted to go for some takedowns, but we saw a very improved takedown defense from Ziam. And that's why ultimately I did not bet on Luigi Vendramini. I taped this fight a couple weeks ago, thinking about potentially placing a bet on Luigi. It's just I had concerns about the cardio, the gas tank. He had never been to decision prior to this. And I was also concerned about the offensive wrestling. I didn't know how great his offensive wrestling was. And by the looks of it, it's not great. So that's that. Ziam was able to clearly win the first two rounds. We'll take a look at the numbers real quick. But Luigi just took, too much time to get started. Took too much time to get started. Waited a couple rounds too late. Take a look at the first round. Clear Ziam, 14-7 significant strikes. Round two, another clear Ziam, 18-10 significant strikes. Luigi was 0 for 4 on takedowns in round two. Luigi was 0 for 1 on takedowns in round one. And then round three, Luigi starts the round very, very fast and starts to pressure Ziam. Ziam did not like that at all. He was on his back foot running away, and it looked like Luigi possibly tagged him, hurt him a little bit, and then Ziam got taken down. And then Luigi went to work. So I had a Luigi Vendramini by submission plus 950 sprinkled at quarter unit on that. I thought it was about to happen because Ziam had been submitted twice. And Luigi, very good on the mat. I thought he was going to lock up a submission. Ultimately, Ziam was able to get up, and Luigi was not able to finish him. A lot of people argued that it could have been a possible 10-8. I leaned towards it probably wasn't. He didn't do enough damage for me. So I scored it 29-28 in favor of Ziam. Ziam gets the win. Yeah, I mean, we don't really need to take a look at the scorecards and all that, but pretty clear 29-28 Ziam to me. I thought Luigi just took a little bit too long to get started. You thought Collier won. I'm with you. Collier landed more strikes on Philippe in rounds 3 than Leon Scott landed on a drunk Nate Diaz in 5 rounds. 100% true. What's up, Carlo? Congrats on the 5-unit win on the Hill fight, man. Yeah, I can't wait to talk about that. That was my personal fight of the night. I had it a draw, but if anyone should have won, it's Ziam. Yeah, I kind of had it 29-28. A draw, maybe. If he would have stayed on him those last couple minutes, landed some more damage, got us in dominant positions, I could have seen a draw, but he let him up. And then, I don't know. I don't think he did enough. Yeah, the performance, I got disappointed by Luigi. At least he did gain 2 takedowns, though. Ziam defended himself well there. I don't know if it was more so of Ziam's improved takedown defense or more so of Luigi not having the best offensive wrestling. I don't know. But yeah, Ziam looked okay. Not overly high on the guy even after this performance. But I would have liked to see Luigi start a little bit quicker. I think Luigi had 2 takedowns. It said officially 1. What's up, Jacksonville? Zoe, how you doing? Hopefully you did well last night. Shout out to Zoe, guy on Pub Sports. Could have been a great card for me if Hill had have tapped for my sub prop. Yeah, that sucks. Anybody that had a sub prop on for the Paul Craig, that sucks. And Figueiredo had closed my 5-legger, only cashed on Riddell. Yeah, we'll definitely talk about Figgy. That was a little weird. Riddell looked really good. We'll talk about him as well. That was fight of the night. Davis and JJ won, or JoJo. Yeah, I agree. And we'll definitely get into those. Do you think the commentary is very biased in general? I thought there were some fights where it was very biased, yeah. Got slate busted on Hill. Should have done the under. I think the first takedown was a knockdown. I remember he hurt him on the floor. Yeah, I don't know. Some people say it was a slip. Some people say it was hurt. But officially, I think he said he got one takedown. All right, so we'll get to the next fight here. We have Steven Peterson versus Chase Hooper, and this, in hindsight, could have been the easiest bet of the year. And we had money coming in on Hooper all week. We even saw Peterson as a slight dog when the fight started, and I was tempted to add more onto Peterson, but it's just a case of, Hooper's not ready. He's 21 years old. He needs a lot of work in the strength and conditioning, a lot of work in the striking as well. Peterson went out there, looked good in the striking. I did not like how much Peterson was engaging with Hooper. I was like yelling at my TV to get up. But we got to remember, like, Peterson, he's been in there. He's 31 years old, 32 years old, brown belt and BJJ. He's been there before. So those, heel hooks are not going to work on a guy like Steven Peterson. It could work on slippery Pete Barrett, but on a guy like Steven Peterson, it's going to be hard to get done. So it's just crazy. Like, Hooper's path to victory was literally him pulling guard and getting a heel hook. That was his path to victory. And, in hindsight, I thought Peterson looked like a pretty decent sized favorite. The line opened up around -180. That's probably where the line should have been. But no, money was coming in on Hooper. So I'm sure we'll get opportunities to fade Hooper in the future. But yeah, they tried to feed him a win. I mean, they tried to feed him a win here with Steven Peterson. Like, if Hooper's going to get a win, Peter Barrett, Steven Peterson, those are guys that they're trying to give him. So I'm curious to see what he does next. I do think he needs to take some time off, grow, get better, because I really don't think he's ready yet at all. But Peterson was able to go out there and get a win. All three judges had it. Well, two judges had it 30-27, and one judge gave the first round to Hooper for some reason. But Steven Peterson was able to get a pretty easy decision win. I had Peterson. I bet him a couple weeks ago, -124. I was not expecting money to come in on Hooper, but then again, you can't really be surprised. As I always say, hype drives the line. People love Hooper. People were betting on him. Most people probably don't even know who Steven Peterson is, to be honest. So I'm glad to see Steven Peterson back in there. He looked good, but definitely will be looking to fade him in the future. He made a little bit too much mistakes for my liking in that fight. Oh, dang, that Hill versus Craig. Yikes, that arm. And I still think Hill should have tapped. Yeah, that was crazy. They robbed Matt Frivola. He was winning the first 6 seconds. I 100% agree. You called it on Hooper having no path to victory against a vet brown belt who kind of sandbagged it, but won easy with top control. Yeah, Peterson had never been submitted, and Hooper was not able to get him out of there. And the weight advantage. People were saying that the weight advantage was a bad thing. Like, what? People were saying that, the weight cut had some concerns. I mean, he looked fine on the scales. I love that. I love that he missed weight. Maybe a potential advantage. No, he's not Ryan Hall at all. That Frivola fight made me a fan of Terrence McKinney. Kid is crazy. How he did that in 2 weeks' notice. Yeah, I love Terrence. He's awesome. Who would be the favorite between Moreno and Askarov? I'd say slight favorite Moreno. But yeah, we'll probably get that fight, to be honest, pretty soon. All right, so next we have a fight that, well, we can't talk about it too much because it lasted 7 seconds. Terrence McKinney versus Matt Frivola. So I was all over this fight, not by, picking a side or betting a side, but the totals and the unders. And, the fight doesn't go to decision. I had fight doesn't go to decision straight. I had 1.5 units on that, and I also had it in a violence parlay with Figgy and Moreno ending inside the distance. So that was huge. I needed that to finish. I probably, in hindsight, should have went heavier on that fight doesn't go to decision, or even the under 2.5, which was at like -170. And it wasn't really much of a sweat. I mean, McKinney looked like he hurt Frivola with a jab and knocked him out 7 seconds. I think he said like a weight class record of fastest finish. So yeah, glad to have McKinney in the UFC. This is a guy that has never seen the scorecards. This is a guy that in 14 fights, he's seen the third round once. He's exciting. He's going to bring it. He's kind of a killer be killed fighter, and he went out there and knocked out Matt Frivola in 7 seconds. Awesome performance. And then he went out there and hurt his leg right after. That was interesting to say the least. But he did not get performance of the night. He did not get it. I believe they gave it to Moreno and Paul Craig. So McKinney did not get performance of the night with that 7-second knockout. I don't know. I think he probably should have got it, or at least, give 3 fighters performance of the night. I think all 3 of them deserved it. But I thought McKinney was a shoe-in for that performance of the night. 7-second knockout. You really can't do better than that. So that was awesome to see. I had a lot of invested on that. Non-health fan. Ryan Hall's a dead man. He's fighting at Tapora next. Yeah, that's going to be a banger of a fight for sure. All right, so we'll get to the next fight here. We have Pannie Kianzad against Alexis Davis. So yeah, the scorecards kind of made me a little bit sick on this one. So first, we'll go to the stats and kind of break it down. So I personally scored this fight 29-28 for Alexis Davis. It was a very close fight, don't get me wrong, but we'll kind of take a look at the stats round by round. So I thought the commentary was, pretty biased in this fight because, they'd say a lot about, Pannie, she's landing a lot of shots, but they wouldn't talk about, Davis and how many shots she was actually landing because Davis was landing a ton. But in the first round, I did give it to Pannie myself, 49-42 in significant strikes going to Pannie. I gave that round to her. The next round I scored for Alexis Davis. It was a very close round, 44-37. In favor of Alexis Davis, significant strikes. So she outlanded her by 7 significant strikes, 53% accuracy, and 44% accuracy for Kianzad. And Alexis Davis also did get a takedown. So I thought round 2 went to Alexis Davis, close round, and then that takedown I thought won it for her there. And then round 3, I thought it was pretty clear Alexis Davis, 46-38, and significant strikes in favor of Davis, 54% accuracy for Davis. 45% for Kianzad. So I did score the fight 29-28 in favor of Davis, her winning the second 2 rounds and Kianzad winning the first. So we'll take a look at the media scorecards. I've not checked any of these yet, actually. And a lot of Kianzad. So we have one person scoring at 30-27 for Kianzad, a bunch scoring at 29-28 Kianzad, and then we also have some 29-28 for Davis. That's kind of how I scored it. So we'll take a look at the judges. All 3 judges gave the first round to Kianzad. We had 2 judges, Chris Flores, 10-9 for Kianzad, and then only 1 judge, Michael Bell, scored the second round for Davis. And then it looks like all 3 judges scored the third round for Kianzad as well. So yeah, 2 30-27s. These 30-27s kind of, I don't know. I did not agree with that. 29-28 Kianzad. I can see it, I guess, but I did have it the other way. But then again, it was a very close fight. But yeah, so only 1 judge gave that second round to Davis, which is interesting. I thought Davis did get that second round. So how'd you guys score it? It was a close fight. I did not have money on Alexis Davis. I did pick her to win. She closed at like plus 235. I was very tempted to take a shot, but I ended up staying away. Kind of glad I did, but there's definitely value on that Alexis Davis line. That line was off 100%. I agree. McKinney earned the bonus. Yep, I agree with you as well. Dana said post-fight that he's getting a bonus as well. Good. He definitely deserves it. Dana says McKinney will get an unofficial bonus. I like it. There we go. Peterson with the fake glove touch was shameful. Yeah, it was. I really wish Davis would have won. I think I was a little high on her on DK, not all. Yeah, I had a little bit of her on DK. I had like 0 Pannie. I think I had like 27% Davis. Yeah, she almost got it done. I thought she should have went to her takedowns more. So that was surprising, but she almost won a fight with only landing 1 takedown. So that was kind of impressive, but still, I mean, that's why I couldn't bet her. She has no fight IQ. Like, that's how she wins the fight, is go for takedowns, and she just did not do that. But yeah, so Pannie Kianzad does win a unanimous decision. All right, next we have a very interesting fight here. Movsar Evloev going against Hakeem Dawodu, and I was expecting this to be more of a closely matched fight. I thought both guys were very, very good, but we just seen a huge skill gap between the two. I was not expecting Movsar Evloev to go out there and just dominate him like that. And yes, he did slow down in that third round, but those first 2 rounds were phenomenal rounds by Movsar Evloev. So we'll take a look at it quickly, round by round. The first round, Evloev was 4 for 6 on takedowns, 3 minutes and 36 seconds of control time. He looked very good. I expected Hakeem to, have a better get-up game. A little bit better of a ground game, but we just see that Movsar Evloev is the real deal. Movsar Evloev is, next level. And although I thought it was a closely matched fight, I think that the line, in hindsight, probably should have been a little bit wider. I think it closed around like minus 210, minus 220 Evloev. I know a lot of people were taking that dog shot on Hakeem because on paper it did look like a close fight, but as we saw it play out, it was all Evloev within the first 2 rounds. So second round, we have Evloev landed 14-1 in significant strikes, 91 total strikes to Hakeem's 13 total strikes in that second round. He was also 3 for 3 on takedowns, 100%, with 4 minutes and 34 seconds of control time, controlled just about the whole round. Dominant round for him. And then we have the third round where Movsar Evloev definitely did slow down, definitely did coast a little bit. He was still able to get 2 takedowns, 45 seconds of control time. Hakeem did a better job of being able to get up, being able to get to stuff those takedowns. And Hakeem looked like it hurt. He hurt Evloev in that third round as well. But yeah, Evloev, moves on. He moves on. I believe, he's still undefeated, 15-0. I'm curious to see who they match him up against next. We'll take a look at the judges' scorecards real quick. We had a couple 29-27s. All 3 judges, 29-27. I definitely agree with that. We had a couple 29-26s and the rest 29-27s and some 29-28. So, yeah, very, very impressed with Evloev. And people were booing him. People were booing Evloev, and I just don't get that because that was a masterclass of a performance within the first 2 rounds. Third round, he did coast, but still. Great job by Evloev to get it done. Joe Rogan turns the commentary into a podcast episode, always sidetracking it with stories and some trivia and science facts. Cruz and Bisping, best commentary duo. Yeah, not a big fan. I know a lot of people aren't a big fan of Joe Rogan in his commentary. Uncle Weezy had a bet on Davis by decision at plus 325. That was a heartbreaker. Yeah, I thought it could have hit. I thought it could have. I thought she should have wrestled more, but it was a close fight. I think the plus 325 was definitely a good look. I really wished Davis would have talked about that already. I wasn't expecting Evloev to have a better or equal striking. Yeah, Evloev's striking is really good. His striking is really good, but we saw that his wrestling and his grappling is just, next level. Movsar looked good in there. Wow, future contender for sure. I'd say so. Do you think Evloev was optimal on DK? Crazy Night on DK was actually, I'm never doubting Evloev. Yeah, it wasn't much, doubt on Evloev. It was just that the 9K range busted. The 9K range busted bad. Adesanya, he busted. Yeah, he won it, but he busted. You had Figueiredo, he busted. Jamal Hill, he busted. That 9K range, it looked phenomenal, but it busted. Even Matt Frivola, 8,900 was popular. He busted. So, Evloev did do very, very well. I wasn't expecting 9 takedowns. I was expecting a couple. Just thought it was more of an evenly matched fight. Yeah, he almost got knocked out after taunting. Yep. Those were some brutal fans, no MMA knowledge. They just wanted to see chaos. Yeah, that was weird. I thought it was a very good performance. I enjoyed the fight. Not sure what the point of booing was. This wasn't the only fight where you heard booing to think. Yeah, there was a bunch of fights where we did hear some booing. A couple ones. I know Anders Stewart had some booing. I know there was another fight as well that had some booing. I think that Luigi Zion fight had some booing. Not much going on there, but yeah, weird. I thought it was a good fight. All right, so we'll get to the next fight here. We have Lauren Murphy going against Joanne Calderwood. So I did have a bet on Calderwood to win by decision plus 125, 1 unit on it, and I felt pretty good about it, especially going into the scorecards. I thought would probably get it there. So I did score the first round for Joanne Calderwood. The first round was very close. Second round was clearly Lauren Murphy. And then third round was clearly Joanne Calderwood. So we'll take a look at the stats here. And, just, right away, 123 to 80 in significant strikes favoring Calderwood. Murphy did have that takedown and control time, but she outlanded her by, 43 in total significant strikes, which, was expected. I expected that to happen. But what I also expected to happen was some Murphy takedowns. She only got 1, but she did control Calderwood for 4 minutes and 54 seconds. So we'll take a look at it round by round. The first round, Calderwood did land 55 significant strikes to Murphy's 29. And then she landed 64 total strikes to Murphy's 40. Close round. I personally had it for Calderwood. I thought she, did more. But they gave it to Murphy there. Round 2, it's not debatable. Murphy, 43 total strikes, got a takedown, 4 minutes and 15 seconds of control time. And then round 3, again, in my opinion, not debatable. 59 significant strikes to Murphy's 35. I thought she looked really good. She was able to stuff the takedowns of Murphy. Murphy went 0 for 3. Murphy did slow down quite a bit in that third round. Calderwood wins that third round. So I personally had it 29-28 in favor of Joanne Calderwood. Calderwood getting that round 1 and that round 3. But we'll take a look at what the judges and what the media members saw. All right, so it was a split decision. We don't have the rounds up here, but yeah, 29-28. One for Calderwood, and then 2 29-28s for Murphy. So I'd imagine 2 of them gave the round 1 to Murphy, and then 1 gave the round 1 to Calderwood. So yeah, kind of split down the middle here. We have a couple 29-27s for Murphy, a decent amount of 29-28s for Murphy, and then the majority of them had 29-28 for Calderwood. That's kind of how I saw it. But at the end of the day, it was a close fight. It was all up to that first round. I personally had it for Calderwood, but it really could have went either way. Would have liked to cash that plus 125 ticket, but it is what it is. It was a close fight. Can't really complain all that much. I don't think it was a robbery or nothing like that. But, kind of seeing the numbers, I did think she got it done. And even live, I thought she got it done in that first round as well. This was an absolute robbery. 2 rounds for JoJo for sure. That's what I thought as well. The only thing about these chicks fights is the over. Yep, the overs hit on all of them. Some outliers that have finished stoppage pathways. Yeah, I think the 2 of the women's fights last week both finished, but yeah, all 3 of them went to decision this week, or all 2 of them. Yeah, 2 of them. I thought Calderwood won round 1 and round 3, but it's women's MMA. It's going to be close, and the judges will be judges 100%. It's hard to. It sucks. It sucks. Not all strikes are created equal. I had Murphy in a close fight. That is true. Nate almost pulled it off. He did. We'll talk about that. Not as bad as Texas judging, but still not great. Yeah, I kind of disagreed with a couple decisions on this card. I think like 3 of them I disagreed with. Leon got rocked. Yes, he did. So, yeah. All right, we have about 53 in here. If you guys can all hit the like, also subscribe so you don't miss out on the other content. Going to be going live right after this, 7:15 p.m. Eastern Time on Pub Sports Radio with Uncle Weezy, diving balls deep into this week's card, Korean Zombie versus Ige. Can't wait to talk about that. I already have 1 bet placed for that card, and should be fun. Not the best card in the world, but excited to get back into it. No days off. There's no days off here. So we'll get to this next fight. I mean, not much to talk about here. Eric Anders versus Darren Stewart. Not the best fight in the world. A lot of people expected Eric Anders to go out there and finish Stewart in the first round, like he almost did in that first fight. But kind of slower paced fight. Not much going on. There were some boos, but Anders looked really good in that third round. We'll bring up the stats here. And so total strikes, Anders outlanded him 44-33. Stewart did have 2 takedowns, but we'll take a look at the first round. So in the first round, Stewart landed 9 significant strikes. Anders landed 5. Eric Anders did land. Here they are. Can't find it. They're up here. Okay. So first round, Stewart landed 9 significant strikes. Anders landed 5. Anders landed 26 total strikes to Stewart's 23. And Stewart did have a takedown and 1 minute and 52 seconds of control time. So yeah, first round honestly could have went either way. I think I did score for Stewart though. And then second round, Eric Anders 12 significant strikes compared to Stewart's 19. But Eric Anders did have 3 minutes and 3 seconds of control time. And then that third round was pretty clear. Eric Anders, 4 minutes and 5 seconds of control time, outlanding Stewart 53-10. So clear 29-28 for me. Would not, argue if it was a 30-27 for Anders. And it looks like the judges scored it 29-27, 29-27, and 29-28. And that's kind of how I see it. I scored it 29-28. I guess you can give, Anders a 10-8 round if you'd like. But yeah, I did think Anders did enough to get it done, won by decision, and that's kind of how I saw the fight going as well, an Anders decision. But yeah, glad we got to see the fight replayed. Glad Anders got his rightfully deserved win. Hindsight probably did look like an easy bet. I just did not want to get involved with Eric Anders as he, has screwed me more often than not in the past. But if you got him at like minus 130, I think he was at one point, minus 140, minus 150, probably a good line there. Easy money, Eric here. Bet the distance too. I figured he would play it safe and make sure he gets the win. Yeah, that's kind of how I saw it going as well. Fight going the distance. I know a lot of people were on the under and the fight doesn't go to decision because of the first fight, but I did like the fight goes to decision. Did not bet it though. Judges do travel. That's true. I think Anders is taking on a Russian approach like Evloev. It looked like it. Came down to the reversal in the third round after Stewart takedown. Yep. Control time. Yep. All came down to the control time, and Anders had a ton of it overall. My boys let me down too many times. I 100% agree. Anders versus Stewart did the typical opposite world rematch thing, and they both looked terrible. Yeah, it wasn't as much of an exciting fight as it was last time. Yeah, the under was a big trap, 100%. Like, Stewart's never been knocked out. Stewart's very tough. But a lot of people thought that, since it happened this way in the first fight, it's going to happen that way in this fight, and it's just not how it works out all the time. All right, so yeah, fight of the night here. Brad Riddell going against Drew Dober. Fight of the night. This fight was amazing. I loved it, and we'll kind of get into it here. Total strikes 89 to 73 in favor of Brad Riddell, and I kind of talked about on my prediction video that don't be surprised if Brad Riddell comes out here and gets some takedowns. And a lot of people thought I'm probably, an idiot and all that. But no, he went out there and actually got 5 takedowns on Drew Dober. And that's kind of what I expected. Like, Drew Dober has a 55% takedown defense. And Brad Riddell has actually landed at least 1 takedown in all 4 of his UFC fights now. So glad to see Riddell, use that wrestling that he's been working on. So that worked out. Riddell also had 2 minutes and 30 seconds of control time to go with it. Drew Dober did a really good job at getting back up. But as far as the striking goes in that first round, you got to give it to Dober. Dober outlanded him 32 to 28. He hurt Brad Riddell very, very bad. I thought the fight was going to be over, but Brad Riddell did go for a takedown and kind of, was able to recover. So that was awesome to see. And then round 2 and round 3, goes to Riddell. Riddell did outland at Dober 27 to 21. He also had 3 takedowns in that second round. Dober got a takedown himself. And then round 3, I gave to Riddell as well, outlanding Dober 34 to 20. And Riddell was able to get another takedown in that third round. So I had it 29-28 for Riddell. We'll see what the judges had. The judges had same thing, 29-28 in favor of Riddell. Let's see what the media had it. Probably the same thing. 29-28 in favor of Riddell. All of them. So pretty much everybody saw the fight the same. But regardless, it was a very fun fight and fight of the night. So very, very happy to see a performance like that. I thought it was a great way to, get into the main card. Boston Nick in the chat. What's up, Boston Nick? How you doing? Hopefully you did well last night. I saw the Pub Sports stream. Did some numbers. This money line bet and one parlay saved me from the pumping I took later on the Hill fight. So you had Riddell. Yeah, I picked Riddell. Was tempted to bet him. Ended up passing there. Who we got in the All-Star race tonight? Probably Larson. I mean, Larson is just a beast, so probably Larson. What's up, Nick? Smash that like. I agree. I put a unit stab on Brad after the first round live. Brad wasn't even checking leg kicks. Yeah, so Dober, both guys have such a chin, man. I mean, Dober was eating some shots that I did not know how he wasn't going down. Both guys very durable. Crazy fight. 65 in here, 19 likes. Yeah, let's get those likes up. Let's get them up. Last week, I think we had like 91 likes. Kamer and Vera parlay. I have not taped the Vera fight yet. I know a lot of early money's coming in on Grant, so I would wait. Till later in the week. Looks like Grant's going to be the public dog of the week, just like Jake Collier was. So I'd wait. Looks like that Vera line's coming down quite a bit. I bet we can get them better than minus 200 by the end of the week. But I've not really dug into it as much as I need to. First look is going to be Vera, though. But as we know, Grant did beat him the first time. Maybe that's my money's coming in on Grant. I don't know, but we'll have to see. Yeah, hit the like Boston knows. Boston's right. Over 6 units on real night. There you go. I had 3.31 units officially. Then I hit a nice Hail Mary added on there. So good night for me as well. Glad you did well. I was on Brad Riddell and DK. Yep, he did really good. He was on the optimal lineup, I do believe. Mozart rolled me easy money. Can't believe people didn't take him at minus 230. That's a bargain for him. Yep, 100%. Good plays on the totals. Yep, totals killed him. Killed him last night for sure. I had, I think, 5 totals in my Hail Mary parlay. Got off all of them right. And then I had Leon Edwards as the last leg there. Vettori versus Costa. Who are you picking? Probably Vettori. How do you know Collier was a public dog? I saw that big plays came in on him because he opened up around like plus 260 and he got bet down to like plus 130, plus 140. So a lot of people had a bet on Jay Collier. Yes, sir. It's pretty good. Pretty good. We'll talk about my biggest bet of the night coming up right quick. Paul Craig submits a lot of people. He sure does. So we'll talk about that fight. So this was, my personal fight of the night. I had a 5-unit max bet on this fight to end inside the distance, and then I also had a 1-unit bet on this fight to not reach round 3. So I was 6 units deep on this fight. I was terrified, being that heavily invested on this fight. Like, this was half the action of the night for me on this fight. So I didn't care who won. I thought Craig was definitely live. I tried to warn everybody, do not parlay Jamal Hill. A lot of people did. That was it looked like the parlay piece of the week was Jamal Hill. There are just some question marks for me, and I was actually going to parlay Jamal Hill. I was going to parlay him with Leon Edwards a couple weeks ago, but after digging to the tape, I decided to lay off and just bet that the fight doesn't go to decision instead, and that it worked out well. So we start the fight, and Paul Craig, pulls guard, and all week, Jamal Hill was, very confident, talking a lot of crap. Paul Craig was kind of the opposite. He was calm, cool, collected, not saying much. And he was talking about Hill, getting too emotional. And I think that's kind of what happened here. And Hill all week was saying that he had a better ground game than Paul Craig. That's a red flag. I heard a couple interviews where he's talking about his ground game. People have not saw my ground game yet. I'm better everywhere than Paul Craig. I'll go to the ground with Paul Craig. That's just things you don't want to hear, especially if you're betting, minus 260 on Jamal Hill. And it's always hard to count on a guy like Paul Craig. Like, Paul Craig's always in the fight. We saw that in the Ankalaev fight where he got a submission with 1 second left. Like, this guy, one of the most underrated fighters in the UFC. And honestly, thought Jamal Hill was getting a little bit overrated. I was hearing people say that, Jamal Hill would beat Jan Blachowicz. I saw people saying that Jamal Hill would beat, Ankalaev. Jamal Hill would beat Jiri Prochazka. Jamal Hill would beat Dominic Reyes. And I disagree 100% with all of those. But I still think he's really good. I still think he's really, really good. It's just he needs, some more work, on that ground game. I had some question marks about his ground game going into this fight. The 0-for-6 takedowns of Stoshik definitely scared me a little bit in a fight where, Craig's probably going to get him to the ground one way or another. And I felt he was just a little bit too comfortable on the mat with Paul Craig, and that's just not something you can do. So Paul Craig looks like he breaks his arm. I guess it was dislocated. And then he starts punching away. He lands like 39, 40 strikes on him, some elbows, and the ref finally stops the fight. I thought the fight should have been stopped a little bit quicker, and by a little bit, I mean probably like 20, 30 punches prior. But, still Paul Craig did get it done. I definitely feel for all the people that took a shot on Paul Craig by submission, because that should have been a submission 120%. So that sucks. But if you did take a shot on Paul Craig, congrats to you. I picked Jamal Hill. I thought he was going to be able to stuff the takedowns, keep it on the feet, and that just wasn't the case. Paul Craig, veteran of the game, and his ground game is just legit ground game. He's dangerous. You do not want to go on the mat with Paul Craig. So I was able to, cash both those bets. I also had the fight as a good decision in my Hail Mary. So in total, I was like 6.5 units deep on this fight to finish, and that's ultimately what I needed. But yeah, it was a good fight for as long as it lasted. Jamal Hill, that was his first loss, I believe, ever, including amateurs. So I do think Hill will bounce back. His arm's not broken, just dislocated. But I'm curious to see what he does next. But I do not think he's ready for a title yet. I mean, if you're losing to Paul Craig, regardless of how it happened, you're probably not ready for a title. That's just what it is. But a lot of people really like this guy. A lot of people really high on this guy. I get it. Great skill set. I just don't think he's ready yet. But yeah, that definitely made my night for sure. Nasty dislocation. Yeah, it was definitely nasty. Oh, come on, Dan. Come on. The face-off with Craig and Hill should have been a red flag for me. Hill clearly didn't keep his cool. Yeah, it was all week. All week he was getting in his face and all that. I remember the guy in the chats the other day saying Hill would beat Jiri. Where is he at now? That was my dude, UFC Bro Picks. Shout out to him. Yeah, I don't know about that. There were a bunch of red flags that I treated like Stevie Wonder treats reading glasses, and I paid. Yeah, just a ton of red flags. Craig got switched to a technical submission. Did they switch it? I wonder if the bookies will pay that out then. Thanks a lot, Brady. You screwed me, man. I didn't do it. TKO and Sub both got paid out on most books. There you go. Very nice. As they probably should. Craig's game, he beat Ankle Live. His BJJ is elite, 100%. It's elite, very elite. Paul Craig is the one who's ready. Everyone always overlooks him. Yep, everybody thinks he sucks, but he is making massive improvements. So many arm breaks. Yeah, we've seen a couple of them, but yeah, Paul Craig was able to get it done. Surprised a lot of people, but I know honestly, I did try to warn people to keep him out of your parlays. Like the fight doesn't go to decision. It was a good parlay piece. The under 1.5 fight does not start round 3. Under 2.5 was very high on all of those, but ultimately was able to hit that bet, and that's all that matters. So next fight we had Damian Maia going against Belal Muhammad. Yeah, I think it was just a case of Muhammad having good takedown defense and Maia being 43, about to be 44. So Maia did attempt a lot of takedowns in this fight. I think he attempted, I want to say like 21 takedowns. Damian Maia attempted, and he did get 4 minutes and 14 seconds of control time. 4% accuracy on his takedowns against Muhammad. So yeah, Muhammad has a very good takedown defense. Like I said, Maia was able to get some control, but Muhammad clearly outlanded Maia 19-7 in that second round, and then 21-12 in that third round. 5-2 in that first round. So we'll take a look at the MMA decisions, and it looks like everybody had it. Well, 29-28, 29-28, and a 30-27. So yeah, I kind of saw it more of like a 29-28. I thought Maia could have definitely got that first round, close first round nonetheless. But yeah, so Maia loses. I don't know if he retired or not. I did not hear word on that. Dana White said that he's not fighting again, so I don't know. But yeah, looks like a lot of 29-28s. It's kind of how I saw it. 30-27s a little bit as well. But yeah, Muhammad looked good, but it's just, man, Maia's like 43 years old, so I don't know. But he did what he needed to do. I know Muhammad was a popular parlay piece, so yeah, solid. I mean, Maia kind of scared me a little bit. It's hard to count a guy like Damian Maia, but he's just getting up there in age too much. Ref doesn't suck. I wasn't tapping. I was trying to stack, but my arm wasn't there. I tried to knock him out quick, but he was just the better fighter tonight. Hill said this on his Twitter. Yeah, I saw that. Yep. Alonzo Menafield knocked out Paul Craig. Yes, he did. A couple of years ago. Remember that? I was very high on Menafield in that fight. Figgy burned a lot of tickets. Yeah, we'll definitely talk about that. Belal was in my parlays. Most confident pick of the card. There you go. Congrats. I picked Muhammad as well. Was not as confident as you, but I did think he would get it done. Played Craig and DK, but also played Frivola. He had a decent amount of Craig and a decent amount of Frivola. Belal is such an average fighter. Don't see him beating any top guys. I don't as well. Belal came through for sure. Yes, he did. And no, he does not have KO power at all. A lot of people expected him to starch Damian Maia. Muhammad by decision was definitely the look. I'm not sure on what the line was. I think it was like plus 100. That was probably the look there. But I did have fight goes to decision minus 150 in my Hail Mary parlay, so that hit. Didn't really have any doubts about that. All right, so we'll get to the 3 5-round fights here. And I did take a small stab on Leon Edwards by knockout. And I did have Leon Edwards also in a parlay. And I don't know, I thought that Edwards should have made this one a little more convincing. And a lot of people are saying that, Diaz won and all that, clear Edwards win, but I think Diaz, did really good in that fifth round. He hurt Edwards very bad. He hurt him very bad. I thought that Nate Diaz was about to pull off a very big upset because the live betting line on Edwards going to the fifth round was crazy. Forget the exact number, but it was something crazy. But yeah, Edwards, I thought he won the majority of the first 4 rounds. And then round 5, that's when Diaz hits Edwards clean, kind of wobbles him a little bit. And instead of Diaz going and trying to get the finish, kind of waited a little bit too much. I thought if he would have pounced on him, he could have probably finished the fight there. But it is what it is. Edwards wins a decision. We'll take a look at what the judges' scorecards were. So 49-46 across the board from the judges, giving that fifth round to Diaz, and that's kind of how I saw it as well. If it'll load, it's not going to load for me, but yeah, crazy fight, especially the ending. But I just thought Edwards should have probably got a finish there, but we got to remember Diaz is very, very tough, and Edwards is not much of a finisher. So yeah, everybody had it 49-46 in favor. Edwards is kind of how I saw it as well. Nate, yeah, everybody's really excited about Nate having a really good fifth round there. Leon does this in all his fights. He just does more than his opponent. He's not a Max Holloway who wants to get 4 times the strikes of his opponent. Yep, exactly. Bookie's blood pressure would have been high as if in the last minute of the fight. Yep. I heard that a lot of people were betting on Diaz. I think he was the most bet fighter in terms of dollars. I think that's what I saw. But a lot of people had money on Diaz, so the bookies were definitely scared. Leon Scott fought with all the urgency of a DMV employee. I can't believe this guy thinks he deserves a title shot after that performance like that. Yeah, he doesn't. Come on. He doesn't deserve a title shot. Diaz's leg was dead. Why are people saying he should have jumped on him? Yeah, I don't know. He didn't want to finish the fight. Could have went better for Nate. Yeah, I thought he should have went. But yeah, like Mellon brought up, his leg was dead. But still. Had a 5K bet on Edwards and was sweating the last minute 100%. The fight, never trust Edwards in a 5-round fight again. Yeah, I mean, I thought he looked good, but yeah, the fifth round was definitely a sweat. Edwards 4 takedowns, I think. Yeah, he had 4 takedowns around there. PayPal is really upset with Edwards. Usman destroys Edwards. I don't think that's a debate. Colby doesn't deserve a title shot after beating Woodley either. Then who do you think should have a title shot next against Edwards? I say Colby. 100%. You think Edwards? You think Edwards against Usman? I don't know. I'd like to see the Usman Colby Covington rematch. All right, so we'll go to the co-main event, and yeah, very interesting co-main event. So it did not play out anything like the last fight, and this was kind of the thing I got most wrong last week. I thought the analysis was good for the majority of the fights. No real surprises, but this one definitely did surprise me. I don't know what it was. Maybe the weight cut for Figueiredo, because it was the worst weight cut we've ever seen out of Figueiredo. There's an argument that he looks bad every single weight cut, and that's true, but this was definitely the worst we've ever seen. There were people, ready there to catch him just in case he fell. He was wearing shades all week, and he was talking about moving up a weight class all week. There's just so many red flags, but we thought, or at least I thought, he's always like that. It's really hard for him to cut down to 125. And he just did not look all that there at all. And it just sucks because he was talking crap all week, saying he's going to finish Brandon Moreno, saying he's mad at him, all this. And he goes out there and he doesn't even fight. So I thought that was really weird. I've never, ever seen Figueiredo like this. But we'll kind of take a look at it round by round. And the first round, Figueiredo throws 13 strikes. He throws 13 strikes. Typically he's somebody that wants to go in there and, finish the fight in the first round. So to see him throw 13 strikes, I knew right then and there that the fight was probably over. I knew that he was not going to win the fight. I don't know if it was like a type of game plan that maybe he wants to conserve his energy for the later rounds, but he didn't do that in the first fight, and he looked good in that fifth round of the last fight. So that was weird. And then Moreno did hurt him bad, knocked him down, almost got him out of there. Round 2, Figueiredo did land 13 significant strikes compared to Moreno's 10, but Moreno did take down Figgy and control him for 3 minutes and 8 seconds. So at this point, I'm like, yep, Figgy's not going to win, but I need a finish. I had this fight ending inside the distance and a parlay with the Frivola fight ending inside the distance. So I needed a finish. That was at plus 155. So the third round, Moreno does get Figueiredo down again, and then Moreno submits him, which, that's the first time Figueiredo has ever been submitted. First time Figueiredo has ever been stopped in his career in general. So crazy. But ultimately, can't take anything away from Moreno. He showed up, he looked good, but man, did Figgy look terrible. Like it looked like he didn't even want to fight. It didn't look like he wanted to be in there. And I don't know. It was a weird fight that we've never seen Davis and Figueiredo like that. I'd be curious to see what he does next, if he's going to move up a weight class, like he's been talking about. Because I don't know if they do a rematch, if they do a trilogy here, I don't know if I'd be picking Figueiredo. He's not getting any younger. The guy's 33 years old. Those weight cuts are really, taking a toll on his body. You can tell, because that was definitely not the same Figgy we saw, in the past couple fights. Not at all. That was a brand new Figgy, a Figgy that did not want to be in there really, because we have never seen him look like that ever. But shout out to Moreno. I mean, a lot of people like Moreno. A lot of people hate Figgy. So Moreno got it done. But ultimately, I did need that fight to finish for my Hail Mary and for that Frivola finishing parlay as well. So finish is what I needed. I did hedge on both guys by decision a little bit to guarantee some profit from the Hail Mary, but regardless, made some extra money with that. And yeah, just disappointed a little bit in Figgy's performance, but really can't take anything away from Moreno. Moreno showed up. Figgy did not. Figgy was drained. Yeah, he was drained for sure, to say the least. Yeah, Figgy looked quite awful. I agree. What surprised me about the fight was the skin to chest hair ratio of Clint when he went off at the end of the first fight. I had to go back and watch. I remember him taking off his shirt, but I wasn't like looking at him. Hope Figgy doesn't leave. He actually made flyweight interesting again in Cancel fights. Yeah, it's just a weight cut, man. Figgy didn't show up. He didn't throw in the first, flat on his back when taken down. Either the booing got to him or maybe the weight cut, but there was the pressure. Yeah, usually he'll have a better get-up game, but Moreno was dominating him on the mat, which is crazy. Shout out to all the Vettori fan bums who disappeared after last night. Shout out to him. Vettori really thought he won. His coach was telling him all fight he was losing. I hope he does not believe that. If he finishes, he is up for a title shot. Usman's not going to play those grab butt games. Leon was the Mark Nate, didn't want to win. Who does he beat at the weight class up? Pedro, Piotr, Corey, Aljo, all destroy Figgy because he's too small. Yeah, he's too small. He's too small for 35, but I do think there would be some fun fights. Figgy was respectful in his loss. He could have been to sell the fight. I don't know why he was talking crap all week. RIP to Blachowicz, the blueprint for the middleweight division. Yeah, that was weird. Hopefully people weren't actually saying that, because that's at a complete different weight class. So that made no sense to me. But we'll get into the main event real quick. Before we do so, I want to say that I am going live in about less than 30 minutes with Uncle Weezy on Pub Sports Radio, 7:15 p.m. Eastern Time. Come check us out. We're going to go dive balls deep into next week's card, get into the stats, talk some early leans, maybe throw out a bet or two. That's me on Pub Sports Radio, 7:15. The link is in the description below. And then going to be doing a main event breakdown, diving balls deep in there as well with Uncle Weezy. Monday, my full card breakdown prediction video will be out Tuesday. Have a lot of work to do still, because this next fight card this week is lots of guys we have not seen in a while. I think there's some guys taking some really big layoffs coming back. I do think we have, one or two fighters making their debut. So I have a lot of tape left to do. Was able to tape about half the card today, so that was nice, but still have a lot of work to go. All right. So we'll get into the main event here, and we have Israel Adesanya going against Marvin Vettori. And yeah, me and Uncle Weezy broke this down, like I said, pretty much to a T. I thought that Vettori would get Adesanya down a couple times, but I thought he'd just have a very huge advantage on the feet, and that's exactly how it played out. So Adesanya outlanded Vettori 96-58 in significant strikes. Vettori was 4 for 14 on takedowns, did have some control time, 6 minutes and 55 seconds. All three judges did score every single round for Adesanya. I thought maybe you could have gave like a round to Vettori, but um, I don't hate the 50-45. So round one, Adesanya outlands him 18-11. Vettori does get down Adesanya one time for 1 minute and 8 seconds control time. Round two, Adesanya does outland him 28-16. Vettori over 3 on takedowns. Adesanya outlands Vettori 19-6. Vettori did have a takedown at 1 minute and 18 seconds of control time. Round four, Adesanya outlands Vettori 20-16. Vettori did get down Adesanya one time, 1 minute and 31 seconds of control time. And then round five, Adesanya outlands Vettori 11-9. And Vettori also had a takedown in 2 minutes of control time. So we'll take a look at the judges' scorecards. Yep, 50-45 across all three judges. And we'll take a look at the media, and 50-45 across pretty much everybody. We had some 49-46s as well. So I kind of saw it the same way. 50-45, Adesanya gets it done. Curious to see what Vettori does next. I think Vettori is a very good fighter. I like him quite a bit. It's just he's not at the level of Adesanya. A lot of people thought that, since Blachowicz was able to take down Adesanya, since a much bigger Blachowicz was able to take down Adesanya, hey, maybe Marvin Vettori could do that, implement the same game plan, hold him down. No, it just does not work like that. And a lot of people were talking about the massive improvements of Vettori. It's really easy to look good against someone in, Kevin Holland, who has no takedown defense or get-up game, or someone in Carl Roberson, who's been submitted 20 times. So shout out to Izzy. I did not have any action on this main event. I was looking at the Izzy by decision and also sprinkling in the Izzy 4 and 5 rounds, but ultimately ended up just sitting back and watching this one. Izzy was able to get it done. So shout out to Izzy. It wasn't, really close at all. I thought Izzy did get it done. Kind of expected the fight to be a little bit closer than it was, though. Brady and Weezy, highest work rate in the Monday division. I like it. The blueprint is a real thing to beat Izzy, but it's not takedowns. You need to check leg kicks, because that 90% of Izzy's game. You can check his leg kicks. It's not hard to outbox him. I don't know. I don't know who's going to beat Izzy in this division. Figgy pushed to Dark Place the first fight. He didn't want to go back there. Moreno lives there. Maybe. Izzy is the reach bully. It was really clinical performance by Izzy. His takedown defense and get-up game for a middleweight kickboxer is just too good. Yep, takedown defense phenomenal. Get-up game phenomenal. Very well. Stylebender is the smoothest mother trucker in the division. Yep. Vettori is not right in the head. Can't believe he was arguing with his coach thinking he was winning. Yeah, I don't know why I would think that. The takedowns came after Izzy's legs were compromised. When he checked most of his leg kicks and beat him in the boxing, then the takedowns were easy. Yeah, I don't know. Marvin is only 27. I think he is still a future champ. Not as long as Izzy's champ, I'll tell you that. But yeah, I like Marvin Vettori quite a bit. I think he's a very good fighter. Middleweight is terrible. 2 Izzy lineups saved me for cash. I bid on DK. I had not much Izzy. I forget what he scored, but it probably wasn't great. But yeah, overall, the card was good. My fight of the night was the Hill Craig. I needed that fight to finish. Actual fight of the night was Brad Riddell Dober. Very good fight there. They gave the performance bonuses to Moreno, well deserved, and they gave the other one to Paul Craig. And then I guess Dana White was talking about giving McKinney a bonus as well, which he definitely does deserve. So hopefully you all did very well. If you guys can leave a like on your way out, that'd be sweet. And then go tune into the preview for next week's card, or this week's card, with Uncle Weezy on Pub Sports Radio. The link is in the description. Hopefully to see the majority of you guys in there, talk some fights, talk next week. Solid card next week. But yeah, thanks for all hanging out as always. And we will see you soon. And yeah,